Hey guys, it's been a while since I've done a profile, to be honest. Just, work, the grind. It's really hard to make time to upload videos. Usually I have to sacrifice sleep to upload videos, do the thumbnails, and I'll of course like make the videos, but anyways, that's getting off topic. I went to a team tournament last weekend. It was Saturday at in Miami from SLAYER Cards. It was the first team tournament I'd ever been a part of. There was it wasn't like huge, but it was like there was 9 different teams, and it was 4 rounds, and my team actually went undefeated. Well, we basically, me and my other boy basically got carried by our by our middle seat. But round 1 I faced GRAVIDIA. I lost 1-2. The last game, it was in time. It was one of those things where like I was still like very asleep and I wasn't paying attention to everything, and I didn't realize my opponent didn't have enough guard for 3 attacks, but I only made 2 attacks, and then I proceeded to lose in the following turn, and then like my teammates were like, "Bro, what are you doing? You could have won." I'm like, "Did you guys win?" "Yeah, okay, I guess it didn't matter anyway." Round 2, not similar situation at all. First game, I was versing shoutouts to Hard R Lee. He was playing his like basically maxed out NIRVANA deck. First game, he won. He just like steamrolled me with like triggers into oblivion. Second game, I was able to like grind it out enough to whereas I barely won, but it was like it was just like just because like NIRVANA just has such a fat hand, so it was really hard to get to that point. And then third game, I 2'd past his Vanguard, because well technically I could have PG his Vanguard, but I only had a certain amount of cards in hand, to whereas I needed to keep 2 Derricks in hand to do combo. And maybe in hindsight I should have just thrown away the Derrick and hoped I'd get another combo piece like through the top cards of the deck, but he broke the 2 to pass, and that's what won him the match. And then of course get carried again, so it doesn't matter. Round 3, I fought, what was round 3? Yeah, round 3 was the Bruce Mirror. He was playing a different build, a more soul charge heavy build. He was playing the soul charge order. He was playing brainwash swirlers. He was trying to do what my build was trying to do, but he wasn't playing cards until like turn 4. He didn't play any cards until turn 4. First game, he went first, and he I tried to counter him, try to rush him down, but he just won. Yeah, he won the first game. Just it's really hard to survive a G4 Bruce turn if they have all 6 attacks, especially if they have the Vanguard of a crit and a rear guard of a crit. Game 2, I was able to go first. I still rushed them down. I think game 2? Yeah, it was game 2. Like, oh my god. Like, the mirror match, it's not, like, super, like, skillful, but, like, there's, like, certain things, like, it's cool to do. Like I rode to grade 2, and then I forget what I put to soul, but I used Derrick's ability to put something to soul to pop his 0 so he wouldn't be able to get the draw. And I swung with the Derrick and swung with my Vanguard. I don't know, I just think that plays cool, that like technically you can like counter, or like there's little intricacies that you could do in the mirror. And then I won that one. I just did full combo on him on turn 4 and he died. And then Game 3, he won the die roll and he was going first. This was very, very bad for me, because I'm like, oh, well, what happened in the first game is probably just gonna happen in this game. And then I drew my hand. I saw that I had an over trigger and 2 PGs in it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep these. And then I put the other 2 back, and then I redrew them. And honestly, that's what helped me survive his first grade 4 turn. And then after I survived his first grade 4 turn, I never got to grade 4, but I did do a 5 attack play with the grade 3, and then it just kind of turned into a grind match until eventually I was able to get enough, because we both kind of ran out of steam. We couldn't do multi-attacks anymore because we didn't have the soul. So it kind of turned into a grind game until I was finally, I had a Derrick in hand, and then I top decked another one, and I was able to get me enough soul to do the 5 attacks to close out the game. And then round 4, I fought another Gravidia player. First match, first game, I flipped the over trigger, and well, he went first, but I flipped the over trigger, and it just kind of continued. Like I steamrolled him from there. And then second game, he was super close to winning. It was I had like 3 cards in hand. 2 of them were grade 3s, I think. I only had like a 15, and he swung with the Vanguard. I 2'd past it. The Vanguard already had a crit, and one of his other rear guards already had a crit. And then he had another lane. It didn't have a crit, but he gave all effects to Vanguard, and I was like, you know what? That actually works really good for me if he doesn't get another trigger. And then he didn't get another trigger, and then I had enough to block his crit lane, and then his other lane, I just ate it, went to 5, and then did I proceed to? No, I didn't proceed to win on the following turn. The following turn, I don't even remember if I did multi-attacks or not. But all I know is whatever I did, he survived. But I had a PG in hand already, and then I drove check 2 more PGs. And then, it's a 3 attack deck, so it was guaranteed survival no matter what. And then he just had so little resources in hand and on field. Next turn, I was able to just close it out. And yeah, that was the tournament. My team went undefeated. My teammates were playing Magnolia and Nirvana. But let's get on to the profile. Every time I go to an event, I keep taking this deck, and I'm just like, it's just so fun. It's so fun to play. It's so hard not to play it, because this is like, or at least in my experience in Overdress, there's no other deck that can that you can build towards like a strategy of like, I'm going to win on this turn. Like I'm gonna win on turn 4. When I say final rush, I mean final rush. But obviously for the grade 4, you want to max him out. For Brian, Brian is the deck. Like without Brian, this deck wouldn't be as playable as it is, or as abusable, because the goal of my deck is full combo is using Brian's skill 3 times, swinging him the Vanguard with 4 crits. That's full combo. And then Derek, 4 copies of Derek. He's what facilitates your combo. He helps you get into extra pieces, the exact number of soul you need to still do your restand play and do Brian. It's an extremely good card. It carries the deck. And then this is the one major difference from my my last. Ooh, I don't like that glare. Let me move these guys up. Move that up. Alright, now I'm playing for Eden. This is the major difference between my last build, that I wasn't playing. What was I playing? I was playing, what was his name? The one that when you play it, you counterblast 1, it gets 5k, then Soul Charge 2, grab anything you want from Soul Call to a rear guard. I was playing that card, but I just realized, like, in playtesting, in playing the last event that the last Kingslayer event I went to, it really wasn't necessary. The only combo pieces I needed were really like 1 Derek, a Brian, and 2 Reginas. Sometimes I wouldn't even need the Derek, just like ways to get massive soul. But this is just really helpful in terms of closing out games, because it naturally has a crit. Your Vanguard naturally has a crit, so you're swinging twice your Vanguard. Those are attacks they want to take, and then you're swinging a crit with this. They don't want to take that either. So it just really it helps secure game, even though that your combo should already secure game. But it's one of those things where 1 heal isn't going to do it, or at least for the most part, that you put them into a position where 1 heal isn't going to do it. Like most of the time they need an over trigger to turn off your turn, or 1 defensive trigger, or more than 1 defensive trigger. And then of course maxing out on the 4. Oh my god, that glare is so terrible. Is it better over here? Yeah, it's better over here. Maxing out on the 4 copies of Regina. Regina and Brian is the bread and butter combo of this deck. You want to use Brian, then Regina, put him to soul, pull him back out, use Brian again, then use another Regina, put him in, pull him back out. That's the combo of the deck, to whereas you can get the multiple crits on your Vanguard and the multiple 5k powers to the front row. And then, let me just, because that glare is really gonna bother me, let me put it here. And then this is the one thing I changed about the deck is at the event I was playing 3 of this, and I was playing 3 3 Quinlu. Now, my initial thought was play 3-3 just because I have an equal chance of seeing both, like pulling off multiples of each in case I do have to discard them. But I just preferred the Wade, giving the 10k power to my Vanguard over the Quinlu, because it's easier to get off versus the Quinlu. I have to have 7 or more in soul to get off both effects, and there was a few times where I realized I couldn't get both Quinlu effects off to shove it to soul. But I replaced the order cards, the 2 order cards that I was playing, I replaced them with Quinlu's for the sole fact that it goes to soul and it's a unit. And that's really all I needed to be, because I was realizing a lot was if I drew the order early, I would discard the order versus anything else in my hand because I preferred to keep my unit cards for my combos. And another thing I realized is there was a lot of times where I used Derek's ability and the order card is just not a unit. Like sometimes I just need a body for Regina's ability, or I need something that's not an order card that just goes to soul, because most of the time I don't put everything I top to call to soul. Usually I call like 2 or 3 cards depending on what it is, because they're gonna go to soul anyway, so I use them for my abilities is basically what I'm saying. But I did realize that there was times to whereas I really just couldn't take full advantage of her, and I didn't really see any like major difference in my games to whereas this won me the game because they couldn't guard with like normal units or something like that on a rear guard attack. Most of the time it was my Vanguard that cleaned up the game. But yeah, that's the only difference that I made to the deck. And then getting on to the rest of it, of course. 4 PGs, you want to live. There's really not much to say. Oh, and another major difference that I made, well, not major difference, it's like a really like slight differences. Instead of the 8 crit, I'm running 4 fronts. Now, I realized putting in the extra front is just so helpful on my my turn 4 kill turn, checking your front trigger. That extra 10k to the front row is just like, it's really something that your opponent does not want to see. And then another thing is, I did try draws for a time, but hard drawing into the draws, they just weren't the shield value I was looking for. And I realized many times that hard drawing the fronts in the early game just helped me survive, especially if I was not going first, I was going second. I realized maxing out on these fronts like pushed up my survivability majorly going second, to whereas all I really do is need to survive until turn 4. Because once I hit turn 4, that's the turn I plan to kill you. I don't have any illusions of this game going on any longer than turn 4. Well, usually, and unless you're like in the mirror, like you survive and then he survives, and now you're just kind of like in this weird grind game. But I digress. And then for the soul charge crit, this actually came in handy a lot. There was a lot of times to whereas I've noticed that I think in one of my recorded matches at locals that I used this to get the 5 in soul because I was 1 off because of Brian, but I realized, oh, I could just get the 5 anyway because of this guy. So yeah, max out on copies. You don't always need it, but it is something like nice to have, like extra extender basically. And then the 3 crit and the 4 heal. A friend of mine pulled this for me, and like I just thought, you know what, put it in the deck, and every time I see it, it's gonna be like, yeah bro, friendship, you know, all that good shit. And then the Dark States over trigger, I know some people play with the Cray Elemental one. Is just, oh my god, this is just, it became even more deadly, and it's like, it was already deadly in this deck, but it became even more deadly that now you have access to a Vanguard restander. Like the first game in my last round against GRAVIDIA, I was not supposed to win that game. I really wasn't supposed to win that game, but flipping because I didn't have full combo. I barely had, what was it? I think I had like 1 Regina, and then, I don't remember what else I had, but it wasn't full combo. I barely had anything, but just having that that extra free 10k and a crit on my Vanguard made it so I didn't have to work that hard. But that's basically the list. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Tell me what other decks. Oh, that glare is just so bad. I'm gonna fix it for the next video. Tell me what other types of decks that you want me to like see / play in the future, like I try to take a different deck to locals every week, playing something that I'm playing around with or something that like piques my interest. Because I have the 5 main nations. I have one of every deck. So, see you guys.